From sandwiches to submarines, ranges to ratios, you guys have had a ton of ideas for the future of Schedule 1. I scrolled through the Steam community page looking for the wildest and wackiest ones of the bunch, and you all managed to cook up some absolutely crazy ideas. To be clear, we're only looking at suggestions that aren't currently listed on Tyler's Trello board, which means no backpacks or map expansion. None of the stuff that's already confirmed. But from plain Jane to totally insane, we're ranking your Brain Blast based on just how much they could impact the game, and how cool they are. So let's jump into my top 10 picks, and be sure to let me know what you think down below. Up first, we have one of the strangest ideas I've seen so far. I swear whoever cooked this up belongs in a psych ward. The Narco Submarine plays off the ideas of the Mexican cartel and their outlandish methods of product transportation. The fact that Highland Point is right on the coast isn't lost on me, so some method of transporting product out of the town by water is an idea ripe for the taking. Sure, a simple boat would make a lot of sense, but it's not going to win any awards. A submarine, however, would give plenty of opportunity to dodge the cops and complete dodgy deals while being totally badass. Maybe you're looking to hire some narcos to aid you in your fight against the cartel. Or maybe you're looking to sell the thousands of dollars worth of cocaine and meth bricks you have stashed away. The possibilities really are endless. The sub could also be useful as a way to introduce new items and events into the game as well, like Heavenly Quality Pseudo, new weapon shipments available with Stan, or armed guards for your properties and dealers that you can hire from Manny. When I tell you the submarine can open an ocean of possibility for the future of the game, I definitely mean it. Alright, I know a lot of you have been screaming at Tyler about your potato aim and the fact that there's no crosshair in Schedule 1. Well, Highland Range may finally be the answer to both of those problems. Once the range's doors reopen to the public, we could be looking at a boatload of new content. Bulk ammo purchases that can be broken down to reload your guns, new and exotic weapons and skins, and best of all, a practical reticle system so you can finally improve your chances at fending off the Benzies and the ever-present cops. I imagine it would be some sort of mini-game challenge, starting with a really big, terrible circle that takes up half the screen, but through hard work and practice at the range, you can shrink this circle until you're able to shoot with pinpoint accuracy. And the better you do at the minigame, the more rewards you'll get. Besides a fancy new crosshair, the range owner could reward you with cash, free ammo, or even a rare gun or sick weapon skin. A progression system that rewards dedication and gives you something to do while you wait for those after-hour deals would mean a ton in the long term. And hell, as an alternative route, maybe the range can help you become an underground arms dealer. A seedy joint like Highland Range with unscrupulous employees could be the perfect way to introduce alternative sources of income in Schedule 1. The best part though is that Tyler has already made some steps towards implementing some of these changes, so we may actually see something like this in the near future. The cartel update was definitely cool, but I feel it needs a few tweaks to really help the Benzies integrate into Highland Point. I also think it would be a lot more immersive if we had new ways to interact with the cartel. Just some small, finishing touches to really make taking those greeners down that much more personal. Starting with dealers getting robbed. It would help a lot for dealers to have a dedicated slot in their inventory just for weapons. Not only would this clue the player in that weapons would reduce their likelihood of being robbed, but it would free up inventory slots for your dealers to keep more of your product on hand so they can keep on selling. Another possible change is fixing the cartel dealers. Tyler removed them spawning at midnight in the last patch, and those slippery bastards are hard to find and even harder to catch, so switching the routine up to make catching them lacking a little easier isn't a bad call. Another tweak I think would be great is some sort of informant system. Some way to glean information about the cartel's movements and plan your next move as well. Maybe the crackheads like Jesse and Cranky Frank could tip you off to the Benzies moving product, or where the dealers lived. Or a corrupt police member could be paid off to reveal the location and movement of Benzies' cars and ambush spots. This could all work on friendliness with each individual, providing better information for maintaining good relationships with your customers. Finally, there could even be consequences for angering the cartel with all of your hard work. Larger and more frequent ambushes, dealers poaching your customers or lowering their loyalty to you, and even blatant acts of violence like drive-bys and vandalism. Don't get me wrong, I do love the cartel, but I think there's some ways we can improve it. The next suggestion has to do with our boys in blue. And I'm not talking about the little piggies holed up in the Highland Police Department. It's high time that handlers receive updates in the main game that modders have already tried to implement. such as breaking down bricks in the packaging station, increasing item transfer inventory, and an increased number of routes. Requiring only a few changes to be added in, these could be a game changer in the automated production industry, letting you kick back and relax as your workers grow, dry, cook, mix, and pack your product to perfection. Maybe with all that free time on your hands, you can finally get around to finishing the main storyline, you slacker. I just checked the Steam achievements on nuking the Benzies Manor, and only 2.5% of players have managed to unlock the finishing the job quest, so what are you waiting for? The next suggestion has to do with the cops. Ever notice how they always seem to turn a blind eye to the Benzies' nefarious dealings? There could be so much going on behind the scenes coming in future updates. Maybe the quest lines could result in you discovering the Benzies have actually paid off the police department to turn a blind eye to their criminal activities. And further down the line, you can bribe the police department yourself, either putting them at odds with the cartel or making them friendly with you. The possibilities really are endless when you think about it, leading to plenty of interesting situations in the mid to late game and providing more interesting scenarios with both the police and the Benzies. I'd love to see this included in the police update that Tyler is planning. I think there's a lot of stuff we can do when it comes to the interaction between the Benzies and the police. Let's be real for a minute. The last thing anyone wants to be doing on Schedule 1 is paperwork. I mean, we already have to do math to keep the game running efficiently. Why do we have to run all over town shoving money into counting machines just to refill our bank balance? The world of cell phones and automatic bank deposits should have solved this problem for us by now. We're living in 2025, so what I'm proposing is a banking app that would let us automatically restart laundering operations at each of our properties with the press of a button. Now, I think you should have to do a quest to unlock this. I feel like it would be a lot better as a mid-game thing than an early game one. Maybe Chris at the Highland Bank could set us up with automatic deposits. Or maybe to enable this, we have to install safes at each of the locations and stock them up with cash to automatically refill the counting stations. This would definitely add a bunch of functionality to items like safes, storage shelves, and filing cabinets, while providing some much needed user friendliness to late game kingpins looking to increase their online balance. Let's be real. Laundering is the biggest pain point in the game right now. It could definitely use a little touch up. Yes, I know we just got done talking about laundering, but I got another suggestion. For the average kingpin, laundering is the biggest bottleneck and the biggest hang-up in the entire game. The 24-hour waiting period for a measly 20,000 smackaroonies just becomes such a pain in the ass later on in the game. Luckily, some changes to the laundering locations could both speed up this process and give the players some much needed variety in their day-to-day gameplay. I would love to have some minigames centered around each of the businesses that boost how quickly you can launder money and let you reduce the waiting times. So for example, in Taco Ticklers, maybe you help out Kyle on the grill, building and wrapping tacos for those munchy afflicted customers. In the laundromat, sorting and folding laundry could boost that turnaround time on your operation front. Maybe the car wash can be a power washing minigame. There are so many options here, I couldn't possibly list them all, so sound off some of your own in the comments down below about what sort of minigames you'd want to see added to each location. Alright, third time's the charm. Here's another suggestion for money laundering. Like I said, it's the biggest pain point in the game, and it needs to be ironed out. If you're tired of the limits set in place with each business and need more cash in your online balance to afford some fancy things, then worry not. The casino, bank, or church could be added as a laundering location in a future update to bring a huge buff to late game money laundering, making it possible to purchase the manor, warehouse, and a fleet of cheetahs that much faster. Maybe we'll finally be able to see what's in those shady casino backrooms, figure out what Walter really does in his time off as a priest, or get cozy with Chris Sullivan and Highland Bank so he can cook the books for us. Whatever it is, it's definitely something to think about for the future of Schedule 1. Laundering is the biggest complaint that people have about the game. Okay, it's time to move on from money laundering and talk about something everyone loves, the casino. If you're tired of the same old single-deck blackjack and ride the bus, you're not alone. The slot machines and tables inside Highland Point's casino need some serious reworks, seeing as they're missing some crucial details. Blackjack in particular needs the ability to double down, split, and ensure your hand. And the slot machines need a bit more variety as well, maybe different themes or a higher betting amount. And the casino is missing the most important table game of all, poker. Imagine, for a moment, a four-man drug enterprise ending in a poker game gone wrong. Guns blazing, cards, tables, and bodies flying as Highland Point's up-and-coming cartel disintegrates in a no-holds-barred, winner-takes-all casino brawl. Or instead, imagine high-rolling your way to victory as you crank the wheel of a one-armed bandit and hear that electrifying jingle when the wheels hit 777. All in all, a rework to the casino could go a long way towards providing some alternative methods of making money for those who like to hedge their bets and play the odds. And last but not least, we have a tweak to the mixing stations. If you use a clipboard to open up a station, you'll see a section titled Threshold. This small slider sets the minimum number of product that must be placed into the machine before a chemist starts the mixing cycle. Setting this number higher ensures that you don't have half a batch moving through your mixing stations, which keeps your product scooting along in nice, even numbers. The max threshold limit is currently 10, but increasing that limit to 20, at least for the Mark II mixing stations, can prevent a ton of headaches in the mixing and packaging process. Now, all of your product will neatly and efficiently pass through the mixing stations in stacks of 20, which is coincidentally the exact amount to create a brick. This will leave your handlers and chemists to process additional product in the quickest manner possible, instead of wasting time refilling a station because Jerry the Blue Shirt saw fit to run a batch of 4 OG Kush he had sitting around in his pocket. Thanks a lot, Jerry. So there you have it. 10 of the most trending ideas straight from your suggestions on the Steam forum. I've taken the liberty of submitting what I think are the best ones straight to Tyler, so we may see these sooner than you think. But what do you see for the future of Schedule 1? I'd love to hear from you guys what ideas I may have missed or what you would want to see coming soon. Thank you guys, and as always, stay silly, y'all.